let's talk about the control flow, if and switch statements. Alright, we found ourselves back in tutorial once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about if statements and switch statements. Something you might hear before is everything is just an if statement. Now this is kind of true actually, because anytime there's any sort of decision, obviously it's a bit of an oversimplification, but in general, everything is an if statement is kind of true because anytime there is a branch, so anytime there's a decision made within code, it's basically an if statement, right? Yes, that means, by the way, that let's say if you're in a modern car and you press the brake pedal, it checks, hey, what is the value of the brake pedal? And if that is a certain thing, then brake, you know, that's what happens in a car. Obviously, it's a bit more complicated than that, but at some point, there's probably an if statement in there somewhere. So the if statements and switch statements are used to control the flow of a program, basically not just line by line. What does that mean? Let's just see an example. The first example, we'll actually use a scanner for this because I think that makes a lot of sense. So we're going to say, once again, over here, scanner equals new scanner. So this is going to be available to you as per usual. Link below in the GitHub repository so you can basically check this out. We're going to ask the user how much health you have, right? Boom. And then we're going to put this in a health variable over here, health equals scanner.nextInt. And we'll also have a Boolean, and that is the isAlive Boolean. And this is going to be equal to health is bigger than 0. I think so far we've seen all of this before. That should be totally fine. But now here comes the kicker, because now here we can ask if we're alive and then output something if we're alive, and we output something if we're not alive. So that's going to look like this. If, right? And so you can see this is another keyword that we need, very important. We then need the parentheses. Within the parentheses, we want to put in any Boolean expression. So it can be a singular Boolean, it can be a comparison operation, it can be a logic operation, whatever you want, as long as it's a Boolean. In this case, we have is alive. So we put this in here. We can hit tab to autocomplete this. And then after the closing parentheses, we want to put in a new curly bracket. If we make the first curly bracket and then press enter, a second curly bracket will automatically appear down here. So we don't need to do anything else. You can also see that the curly bracket right here lights up the other curly bracket so that you know those are sort of, you know, meant to represent a body, right? So whatever is inside of here would be the body of the if statement in this case. And whatever is written inside of these two curly brackets is going to be executed if alive is true. Oh, interesting stuff. So for example, we could say sout right here, once again, tap to autocomplete that, and then a string within here, you are still alive, right? Boom. Let's just say this. So what we now can do is we can literally just run this, right? So let's run this. We're going to ask us how much health do we have? We have 6 health. Boom. You are still alive. All works, right? The entire program, it finishes properly. Okay, we go again. Let's say I have 1 health. You are still alive because 1 is still bigger than 0. But now let's take a look at this. What if I say I have 0 health? What do you think happens now? Well, let's just see. Nothing gets output. Now you might say, wait, we have the system out over here. Yeah. But this only gets called if is alive is true. So here you can see that I've put this Boolean value in here. Sometimes you will also see something like this, right? So if equals true, it will tell you, hey, this can be simplified to is alive, whatever basically works better for you. If you want to write a Boolean equals true or equals false, you can absolutely do that. That is not this is not a mistake, right? This is what you personally find better for your understanding. If you think this makes more sense to you, absolutely write this. If you're like, I'm totally okay with just having is alive written in here, that's also fine. But the question now is, well, how do we now output game over? Because I want to be, you know, I want to game over if the health is actually, like, if we're not alive anymore. Well, what you can do is we can say else, right? You can see else. And then once again, I put in the curly bracket over here, press enter, the second curly bracket generates automatically. And then now within this particular body, everything is going to happen if alive is false, right? So if alive, we do everything inside of here. And then if alive is false, boom, right? So if this true, then this, else meaning if, you know, if this is not the case. So else, sout, we're going to say game over. You have lost the game. Boom, right? There we go. And now all of a sudden, this is super cool. We run this. We say, hey, I've got 3 health. you are alive, everything is totally fine. This is what we had before. Now we run this again. I say I have 0 health, game over, boom. Now this, hopefully, now your mind starts racing and you're like, wait a second, I can do anything. I mean, pretty much, right? Like if statements unlock basically everything. That's why it says everything is just an if statement, because kind of when you think about it, this is where your where things happening, right? This is where things are happening, and this is where decision making takes place and all of that stuff. So this is really exciting. I'm telling you, like this is, I understand you might say this is kind of, you know, if statement is, why is this so crazy that, you know, especially people who are a little bit more advanced or maybe even a lot more advanced, if you're maybe just brushing up on your Java over here, you might be like, yeah, it's an if statement. Don't make a big deal out of it. No. In my opinion, if you understand if statements and if you can use if statements, you've unlocked, you know, 50% of programming at the very least, like maybe even more, because it's basically one of the most powerful tools. That is why I harped on so long about the whole Boolean stuff, right? Because if you understand Booleans, all of a sudden you have a much easier time understanding if statements. And there we go. I'm going to see another example over here of making it a little bit more interesting. So let's say we have a sys out right here, which it's going to be how many points did you have in the exam, right? Boom. We ask this and we say int points is equal to scanner.nextInt. No, not next byte, next int. Actually, there you go. So we're reading in an integer again. And now we say, well, if we have points that are bigger or equal to 100, then we're going to output something. So let's say, for example, we're going to output passed with honors, right? Just for the sake of argument, because if you have more than like 100 points or more, then you pass with honors. And now we want to say, well, if we pass with more than 50, but not with more than 100, then we sort of passed, but not with honors. And then anything else we fail. So what can we do? Well, else over here would now only be if we have less than 100 points. That's not quite what we want. But what we can do is we can do another else statement and then another if statement. So we can say else if points are bigger or equal to 50, then let's say we can do another system out and you can say you passed, right? Boom. That's fine. And then finally here, we can say else, and this is going to be sys out over here, or s out, sout, you failed. Boom. Now, what does this mean? Well, here we would be if points are 100 or bigger, right? Okay. And then here we are if points are basically between 50 to 99, right? And then here if points below 50. Let's just say for the sake of argument. Boom. That's basically what we have, right? Those are the if statements that we have. And there we go. So I think this is really cool. And I think this is amazing. And let's just take a look at this. So let's say I'm still alive over here with a 1, right? I'm still alive. How many points did we get? Let's say we get 99 points. You passed. As you can see, we're now right here because if the points are between 50 and 99, in this case inclusive, then we pass. Awesome. I mean, come on. Okay? That's really great. Now, if statements are not the only way to have, quote unquote, to control the flow of the program, we can also use something else, and that is the switch statement. So this is going to be something that you will see. So this is basically for explicit, there you go, explicit action for cases. So what does that mean? Well, let's just take a look over here. It's a bit of a contrived example, I will totally admit. This is not necessarily the way to do it, but I just want you to see the switch statement at least once, how it is sort of written and how it works. So let's say system, so let's say we output give me a number between 0 and 5 over here. There you go. Let's say int student ID is equal to scanner int over here. There we go. And now what we can do is we know, we only have, let's say like, our 6 students or something like that. So we can do a switch statement. So we can do switch. Then once again, the parentheses, we put in the student ID right here, and then a curly bracket. Once again, if we hit enter, the second curly bracket will generate, the closing one will generate. And within this statement here, now we want to give it specific cases. So what can this student ID take on, right? Let's say in our example, just for the sake of argument, we only have numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as student IDs. So we can say case 0 is going to be doing something. So here we're going to do system out over here, and we'll say student Sarah has ID 0. Let's just say for the sake of argument. Now, very important in a switch statement, you always have to use the break keyword over here after a case is done. If we were not to do this, and we will just make another case 1, let's say, for example, and I do like to put this into individual lines instead, because I just think that it looks a little bit nicer in my opinion. So we can just do a print line, And then let's say this is going to be student Mara has ID 1, right? For example. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this a couple of times, and we're going to change the cases over here to 3, 4, 5, 6, or to until 5, not 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then obviously changing the names here as well. John, we got Bowie, we got Ludwig, and finally we have Nano over here with 5. And there we go. Now here, it's very important that because we have specific cases, we know that in this case, okay, you can only ever be between 0 and 5. We know that we can specify the cases. It would be very, very stupid to use the switch statement for something like this. Because here, we would have to define case 0, you failed. Case 1, you failed. Case 2, you failed. That's not the place to use a switch statement, right? Like, that's definitely not the case. This is okay in this case. However, usually switch statements are, you can usually tell when a switch statement should be used and when not. Obviously, this is also something you just learn while programming. Basically, obviously, you can also use if statements for exactly the same thing, right? Like this, converting this to an if statement tree, let's say, would be totally fine. Like that wouldn't be wrong in this case. Now, one thing that you might ask though is like, what if I give it a 6? What happens then? Listen, once again, let's just try it out. That's the awesome thing. You can just try it out. Even if something breaks, it doesn't really break. How much health do you have? 3. How many points did I get? 66. Give me a number. Well, let's give it a 2 for now. And then you can see, oh, what is this? It output everything. That's what I said before. You need to give it a break command over here in each line because the case basically then just says, oh, just do whatever you have after it, right? So we need a break over here. This is the break keyword. I'm going to just paste this in this case, after each of the different cases. This is also why I like to have this in one line because you can always see, okay, we always have a break here at the end. Awesome. And now if we do this properly, once again, of course, we have to go through everything else. I've got 5, I failed, okay. Now I get a 2, and now student ID John, or student John has ID 2. So now we have correctly printed out only one thing. Now what happens? I put in a 6. Oh, isn't that interesting? That's going to be very interesting, okay? So let's say we got 69 points, we passed, and now we put in a 6. What's going to happen now? Nothing. Nothing happened. Huh, isn't that interesting? Well, nothing is not really a good idea, is it? Because let's say this is let's say something like in your program actually expected something to be returned over here, right? Maybe not a print line, but maybe, you know, need a string or you want to get a student. Well, for this, we can use the default keyword right here within the switch statement, and we could do all sorts of things. We could throw an error, right? This is what I've talked to you about before. With errors, you want to fail loudly, right? So we could do an error. We could also just say system, didn't find student. So we could do an error. We could do a normal system out. Let's just do a normal system out. In this case, my reasoning is because we would need to change a little bit of the rest of the program to actually make it an error. But we can call this, right? Error student with ID, and now look at this, ID, student ID not found. Boom, right? And once again, we add a break right here just in case. Bada bing, bada boom. And now we have this. So if we now go through the whole program again, we got 3 health, we got, I don't know, 6, 7 over here, and then we pass in, I don't know, a 9, boom. Error, student with ID 9 not found. Awesome. So once again, it's a bit of a contrived example, of course, but the switch statement is used if you have explicit action for specific cases. So you know, okay, I only have 5, 6, 7 cases. Maybe they're not ever really going to be expanded, even if it's not like if you want to add like 1 or 2 cases over here, that's going to be a bad thing. But obviously, you wouldn't want this to happen for like 100, 200 cases. That would probably be too much. You would probably want a completely different system at that point. But yeah, so we've seen control flow, meaning if and switch statements. They are the backbone of programming, basically, because they control the flow of the program, right? Am I going to go in, like, output this? Am I going to do this? I'm telling you, if you understand this, this is already really, really freaking cool. And I highly recommend what you do is you take this, as per usual, all of the code here is available in the GitHub repository. So you can copy it over, you can play around with it, just add a couple of if statements, input some things, just play around with this, go crazy, right? Last time we've seen the Booleans. You can maybe even use that with a drinking age and stuff like that, and just, remake that for, like, with if statements, let's say, for example. Highly recommend it, and we'll, of course, also see a bunch of if statements used in the exercises that are coming up very soon. I believe actually in 2... Yeah, next lecture, it's going to be strings, and then it's going to be the first exercise where, of course, we're going to be using some if statements. If and switch statements, awesome stuff. Hope you found this useful and you learned something new, and I'll see you all in the next video. So, yeah.